Well, good evening, everyone. You are in for such a good treat tonight. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sandy Tabola, one of the NMDs on the HEAT team, and really excited to be here. One of the things I have loved over the years is watching, as I've been with the company longer and longer, watching other NMDs that just keep that edge and keep that passion and energy for our business and the freshness. And that is Joy Kelly. I'm just so excited to introduce her to you and host her tonight because she's inspired me for many years, just with her energy, her passion, and the grace with which she does life and this business. And so I'm going to share just a little bit about her. So she is unique from some of us, especially from me, in that she grew up with a health conscious mom. So she grew up eating really healthily, and she was also an entrepreneur from a young age. She has a bachelor's degree in biology in McAllister, is that I'm saying that right? College in St. Paul, Minnesota, where she played basketball and ran cross country. She worked in health clubs and even owned a health club. And she says it took losing everything she owned, her house, her health club, even her car, and moving into her business partner's basement, her sister's, and already foreclosed home, to truly appreciate the nature of entrepreneurship and to really want to build a true business that would last. And so she began working with, the Juice Plus company in June of 1995. Within a year, she'd created residual income that as a single mom, she was able to support her family. And she loves now being able to show others how to do the same thing. And what really drives her in business is the desire and ability to dramatically impact the opportunities for others, especially millennials, young people, especially women, just getting out of college and learning that there are no jobs waiting for them usually other than minimum wage or low-paying jobs that don't call on their talents or education. And when Joy's daughter joined her in the business, she really got to watch that in progress happen, and to watch her daughter and her friends build lives of freedom doing this business, and the personal growth that it took while impacting the welfare of others has been one of her greatest gifts. And I'm quoting her now, being a role model is one of the most rewarding things I can ever do. Thank you so much, Joy. I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Thank you. Hey, it's really fun to be here. I don't know if many of you know that Chris was one of the very first people that I ever met at a Juice Plus event. Dr. Mitra Ray introduced me to Juice Plus up in Seattle. I owned a small health club up there. Well, I say small. By today's standards, it was large. It was 10,000 square feet, which is considered pretty big today. Everything's gone a lot smaller. But my sister and I were national aerobics champions, and we decided foolishly to open a club of our own. And Mitra met us there. We had several articles that were written about us in the newspaper, and Mitra saw one and called me, and I got the value of Juice Plus right away. Wasn't interested in the business at all. Everyone in the world tries to recruit fitness professionals, especially even not knowing them. It is a real turnoff. So I really wasn't interested in the business at all. I was too busy losing my own business to take time to look at another business opportunity. So it wasn't until I closed my club that I traveled with Mitra to Bend, Oregon to, I don't know if that was the first Fitness Fest, but it was definitely one of them. The president of the company was there, and I met Chris Cotton. And at the time, I was really broke. I was living in my sister's basement. I was a single mom, and Chris bought me a shrimp cocktail. And I just thought that was the fanciest thing in the world. And he helped to have me see the vision of what was possible in this business. I don't eat shrimp anymore, but it certainly was fancy for me. So I titled my talk tonight, Magic Dust. And the reason I titled it that is because so many of you that get involved, so many of us that get involved in a business like this, we just really, and it's not even just our business, it's even in exercise, in diet. I mean, that's why we love the Shred 10, because it feels like magic dust, right? If I can just do this program for 10 days, it'll jumpstart my health. And so many of us want that magic dust for relationships, for exercise. We want someone to sprinkle something on us and go, there you go, now you're fixed. And so I came up with what I think is magic dust. And I delivered this at the Southern California Orange County Regional in January. And I don't think many of you were there. Were any of you there? I can't see all your hands, but I don't think many of you are there. So this is great. I get to recycle.
I was Joy. It's Lisa, and it was awesome.
Right. Yeah, well, you're going to get to hear it again.
Yay.
Minus the theatrics. But I opened the event with a picture of me as a competitor, and that was many years ago. That was in 1992, 1993. My sister and I kept competing until 1995. And I was in my late 30s by then. So it was quite a feat. And it was especially a feat for me because I'm a runner. And I can go forwards and backwards, maybe a little bit of side to side, but you start adding like fancy arms and, got to have our toes all the same. And that is not me at all. And I competed on a team of 3. My sister was a Texas cheerleader, and our third teammate was a ballerina in the Pacific Northwest Ballet. So I was at a severe, severe disadvantage. And I showed the video while I was there because it is pretty impressive. I'll someday show it again, but it's impressive to see exactly how in sync all of our toes had to be on the same plane, all of our hands had to be at the same angle throughout this 3-minute routine. And it's quite fast paced, and we had 48 stunts in this routine. Now, most teams of 3 do their stunts in canon, which means they peel off, so they don't have to be the same at the same time. We did all of ours in sync, almost all of them, and maybe there was 1 or 2 that we did in canon. But almost all of our stunts were done in sync. And that meant a lot of stop action video and a lot of, having to like work our hands over and over again, slow motion, tape watching, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, it was a lot of tears because I had to stay a lot later than anybody else. I had to practice more than anyone. I had to visualize more than anyone. I had to learn. It was like learning a whole new language. It was really hard. And so you ask, like, why did I do that? Because I really did just want some magic dust. I usually cried at least once a week at practice. And I just wanted some magic dust that would make my arms go straight like my sisters and my third teammates. And I wanted magic dust that would have me be able to jump as high as they could. But what the magic dust was, I discovered magic dust. And I'm going to share that magic dust with you today and tonight already. And you can share that you can use that in your business if you like to create the kind of results that I was able to create in the fitness industry. So the first thing that I had, and you guys want to probably write this down, the first thing that I had was I had drive. Now we call that your why a lot. But for me, there's a little bit of difference between a why and a drive. Sometimes people say you've got to have a why that's so big that it makes you cry. Your why needs to make you cry. When my daughter got involved in this business, all she wanted was a Toyota Tacoma truck. And that was enough. That was a drive for her. She wanted that. And when I was competing in aerobics, my drive was that my sister said that our life would be completely changed, that we would become national fitness celebrities, that we would get a contract, that we would make videos, and all of that stuff was true. That was true. And it wasn't a why for me, it was a drive. Like I knew that I could do this if I held on to that drive. So we had vision boards of, our heads on top of the pictures of the last national aerobics champions. And, we did a lot of visualization, but that drive was really important. And if any of you are involved, I guess I can't bring up the I word, but at any rate, if you're involved in any kind of personal transformation work, anybody, I don't care if you're listening to Abraham, I don't care if you're listening to Bob, I don't care if you're listening to Tony Robbins, whoever it is that you're listening to, they will all tell you that unless you're going somewhere, unless you have a drive that you're going for, life is not very sweet, and it's not worth living very much. It's not going to get you out of bed in the morning. I was just listening to Abraham this morning, and they were talking about how, we always want to get to that journey, but it's the getting to the journey where all the joy is, where all the fun is. So having that drive, and I distinguish that from a why because it is a drive that like it leaps me out of bed in the morning. I'm working with my daughter right now, and we're doing exciting stuff together. And I leap out of bed in the morning. Well, I don't know if I leap, but I get out of bed excited in the morning to really do what we're up to next. And that's what I had when I was competing in aerobics and when I had that vision, because it was not easy. It really was not easy. So that's the first piece of magic dust I'm going to give you. Here it comes. Okay, did y'all get that? Take that magic dust, okay? That's magic dust number 1. Magic dust number 2 is that, and we say in this business that you have to be coachable. Well, first of all, you got to find a coach. So who are you going to listen to? Is it going to be your upline? I hired several coaches. We had a routine coach. We had the guy that did our choreography. We had the woman that gave us our training. We had a nutrition coach. We had coaches everywhere, and we paid them a bunch of money. And sometimes I think that it's unfortunate that we don't pay people money in this business to be, we just give coaching for free. So I found a coach, and you better believe that I did everything they told me to do. I mean, why else would I bother paying them that money and showing up for practice? So, are you coachable? Like really, really, really coachable? Like, even though I thought that my toes were as pointed as they needed to be, my coach said they were not. They were not. And so I pointed my toes until they cramped, until I could see on video that they were exactly the same as the other girls that I was performing with. And we kind of take that lightly, but I can't tell you enough how important that is. Right now I'm involved in the Brave Leaders program, and the assignment is to do three-way calls with your success partner and 3 downline, right? And do you think anybody does that? Very few people do that. So that is why it's very rare air being in the 100 Club. The 100 Club. Did you guys know that it was a club called the 100 Club? It is. And it's the reason it is hard to get there is because most people, number one, don't have the drive. Number two, they won't be coachable, and they won't do the things that's required to do of them to get to where they want to be. So being super coachable and identifying who your coach is. And if it's not your sponsor, that's fine. Like, there are people that get, like they roll up or they're whatever. Find somebody that you're going to listen to and do and hopefully they've already achieved this success. I mean, I know there's a lot of life coaches out there, and I saw somebody posted the other day. It said, don't be such an asshole. There, now I'm your life coach. So sorry for my profanity, but it's really true that you've got to find somebody that knows how to build this business, that is telling you the things to do. And hopefully there's someone who's progressive, because there's lots of different ways to build this business, but there are lots of things that are the same. So concepts stay the same, techniques change. And you may have techniques. I built this business before I had a computer. So I didn't even know we didn't have cell phones or anything like that. My daughter built her business completely off social media, but the concepts are the same. Everything I did offline, she needed to learn to do online and take it offline. And now I'm learning to do the online stuff and the social media stuff. So that's really great. So that's number 2, is you've got to find a coach and then be coachable. So that's more magic dust. Got it? Okay, got that. So the third thing that I had, and I've already alluded to this, is that I had an incredible work ethic. We were running a health club at the time. I was a single mom. I had to open the club at 6 in the morning, teach anywhere from 3 to 6 classes a day, practice for 2 hours, do an extra hour of cardio, and do my weight training on top of the extra training that I had to do and on top of the visualization. I'm not telling you that to brag. I'm just telling you that sometimes to get something going, when it's fine if you just want it. Like, I know a lot of people when they sign up in this business say, I just want to see what happens. I don't want to really get pushy. Well, what's going to happen if you see what happens is nothing's going to happen. You might get a couple of people on this product, and you might get 1 or 2 people in your business. But unless you decide, and I would assume if you're listening to this call either live or recorded, that you're serious about this, or you wouldn't be wasting your time, or maybe you're just out of Downtown Abbey. I'm not sure. But I would assume that you are pretty serious about this and that you want to have that work ethic. So how do you know if you have work ethic? What's the telling thing about, you can unmute yourself if you want to jump in there. What tells you that you have good work ethic? How would I know that you have good work ethic?
Your calendar.
Not the Cottons. The Cottons can't answer, but that is the answer. Your calendar is what tells me that you're actually doing something on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And you need to be able to show that. You should be able to take your calendar to a stingy banker, and that stingy banker would look at your calendar and say, yep, you're going to make national marketing director. Yep, you're going to make 50 club. Yep, you're going to make 100 club. So what does that look like? Well, right now we have this great program that Jeff Olson and Ken Main started called the Juice Plus 90-day game. And we have lots and lots of national marketing directors that are participating in it. And 5 nights out of the week, Sunday through Thursday, you can get on a Freedom Revolution call with some really, really top people in this company and hear some amazing stories. If you've got young people, look for the night that they've got young people doing it. If you've got athletes, look for the night that they've got athletes. So 5 nights a week, you've got something to invite for, which I think is awesome. On top of that, there's a Facebook page, and I'm sure most of you are participating, but what happens is in the beginning, we get really excited, and there were over 1,000 people for the first week on the calls, and then it went down to 700, and I think last week we had about 400 on the calls. So still lots of participation, but you can see what happens, and so when you are somebody that's sticking with it, you get to breathe that rare air, and you get to be in that 100 club. Okay, when you breathe that fine air and you do the things that are laid out for you. So in the 90-day game Facebook group, every week a national marketing director takes on the week of posting, and they post encouraging things, but every day they post a challenge for you. Like when I did it, I posted something about create content of value, one piece of value for your Facebook page. And for a lot of people, that was like, well, I'm posting stuff about my shakes, but that's not value. Like, how about a recipe? How about how about a workout tip? How about an actual Facebook Live workout of yours if you're a good fitness instructor? That would be something that would really be of high value. So this DMO and calendar idea is so important. I cannot stress it enough. I have started using a program called Teamzy. Are you guys aware of Teamzy? TEAMZY.com. I found out about it years ago, and it didn't have a platform for Juice Plus. It's just for network marketers, and it's a way to track your results and what you're doing every day. And one of my NMDs, Ali Schneider, brought it up to me a few weeks ago, and I said, yeah, I already know about that. And this is where I needed to be coachable, and I needed to be open for someone who's really moving and shaking. And I went and checked it out again, and they had added a platform for Juice Plus. Now it's a little spendy. The first month is free, but it's $30 a month after that, and I'm trying to negotiate with them right now to get that price down, because for a beginning person, that's a little bit much. So I also made a message to Randy Matthews, and we'll see if we actually get a cheaper price on that subscription. But check it out for a month. It's really user friendly. You can download all of your contacts from your Facebook, all of your contacts from your virtual office, and then it tells you tell it how much money you want to make, and it'll tell you how many people you have to talk to a day in terms of prospects, customers, distributors, and new ads that you add. And then it gives you the follow-up that you said that you wanted to follow up with. So I really like it. It's kind of like a video game, and you can have all your team members join it if you want, or you can have Sideline join, and you can compare what you're doing. And the goal, of course, is to get 100%, however days a week that you say you're going to get 100%. I want to do it at least 5 days a week. So it's really kind of fun. And I like that it's a built-in accountability for me. But maybe you've got accountability buddies. Maybe you work with your sponsor. Maybe you've got other ways to make sure that you're putting in that activity. I know on Mission Driven Model, we have the 2x2x2x2 tracker, plus some other things that it recommends that you do. And just for me, I get lost in, I have paper everywhere in my office, and I just get lost in it. And I've downsized myself to a little tiny day timer now. And that's about all the paper I look at. I need to clean up the rest of the paper in this room. It's a really big room too, so I have to work on that. Okay, that's the third piece of magic dust. So I'm going to blow that on you too. 3 pieces of magic dust. There you go. Okay, so the fourth one is what I call vision or passion. And we always talk a lot about how we need to care more about our customers and more about our distributors, more about our customers having results, and more about our distributors getting a paycheck than worrying about ours. Because as Zig Ziglar says, when we help enough people get what they want, we're going to get what we want too. Well, back when we were competing, I really had a vision. It's why I was in the fitness industry. I had a vision of getting people up off of their butts and into the gym and exercising. And I really felt that I was that I was an example for them. And I traveled a lot, and I made exercise videos, and it was really great. But I have to tell you that we had thousands of people watch us exercise, and I had so many people that I taught in aerobics and personal training. But in this business, we get to reach people before they give up on fitness and health. for their life, because people that are coming out to a gym, they're probably still, breathing and not worrying about how many medications they're taking for the most part. But in this business, we get to affect people that maybe they've gotten to their 50s or their 60s or their 70s, and they just think that taking medication is natural, and that it's natural to not be able to exercise. And I'm doing this really tough online workout right now that, I run still, and I go to the gym and I lift weights, but I was not challenging myself. So now I'm challenging myself, and I love that these people out there still have a passion to get me in there, and exercising, and I'm doing things that are new for me, which is great. But in the fitness industry, you don't often reach people that are ready to do that because by the time they get to a certain age, like they would look at what I'm doing online and just go, oh, that's too hard. I'm not doing that. One of my young reps introduced me to this program, this workout program. And the first time I did it, I was like, this is way too hard. Did your mom do this with you? She said, no way. My mom would never do this with me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. Because her mom's the same age as I am. So having that vision, that passion for what you're doing for people, because when like I talked about being a mentor, I know that the young, I'm not going to call them little girls because they're young women, but the young women that are following me, they're going to do what I do, not as big as I'm doing it. So it's just like being an aerobics instructor. When you're up in front of the room, you've got to do things 150% because the guy in the back of the room is only going to be doing about 50% of what you're doing or 25% of what you're doing. So if I'm going to inspire people and show vision and passion for my customers, I've got to have that vision. I've got to have that vision for me so that I can translate it to them. And the same thing's true for my reps, that I've got to be living out of that vision and that passion and keep that forefront. It's a little bit different than my why, because your why is very personal, but your vision is like, what do you see for the world that you are impacting? And I didn't know that when I became a Juice Plus distributor that I was going to have, thousands of people that I was going to be able to impact with this. I'm sure Chris and Nikki didn't, and Sandy didn't, and all of you who are national marketing directors, you didn't realize how many lives you were going to touch and change just by you saying yes to becoming a Juice Plus distributor, just by you saying yes to using our products. And that's the next thing that I want to talk about, but I want to give you that fourth piece of magic dust. There you go. You got it. And the fifth thing, which might sound kind of weird to you, the fifth thing is developing posture. And posture is not faking it till you make it. We have a lot of people think that you just fake it till you make it. But posture is acting as if you've already accomplished what it is that you're setting out to do. So if you were a national marketing director, you probably wouldn't be prospecting the hot dog stand guy unless he was really, really, really amazing, right? You just probably wouldn't be doing that. You'd probably be focusing your energy on the people that are already in your warm market or creating warm market elsewhere. So you really want to act as if. How would you act if you were a 100 Club member? And I'm not saying that 100 Club members don't prospect and recruit. We do. But when you're just starting out in the business, it's great to start picking up leads everywhere that you're going because you're getting practice. But as you get more experienced, you want to have a posture of what you're actually, sorry, people are sending me messages here. I'm trying to read it. Okay, so you want to have a posture, and how you get that posture is a couple of ways. First of all, by having a daily practice, and that daily practice should be part of your DMO. It's the number one thing that I do before I get out of my jammies, out of anything, is I've got my morning routine. And hopefully the next thing I'm going to do, unless I have Toastmasters that day, the next thing I'm going to do after my morning routine is I'm going to go exercise. So all of that gives me a posture that lets me act as if. When we were competing against people who were like lifers, like the big people, like people that had been world champions. And when we walked into the room in our, the costumes that our third teammate's mom made for us, we didn't have like the fancy butts that had the little styrofoam things that held them down. We had like butts that covered our whole butt. I mean, we didn't know at the time, but it was not cool. We were not cool when we walked into that room. We did not know that because in our mind, we were super cool. We were really fit. We had done everything that we needed to do. We had walked the walk. We had practiced our butts off. We had done everything that we needed to do. And so we came in there with the posture that we were national marketing, that we were national aerobics champions, that we were. and we won. And we didn't know how audacious we were being at the time, and you may not know that right now. You don't have to be, but to get that posture, you've got to have that daily practice in place, and then you've got to become a product of our product. And we are a multifaceted product. We are Juice Plus, we are Shred 10, we are Tower Gardens, and we are a virtual franchise. And you must be using all of the products. You must have a Tower Garden. I don't care if you have to have lights on it. I don't care if you have to have it at your Grammy's house because you don't have enough room. You must have all of these products and use them so that your passion, so that all these other pieces all go together. So that you have the posture that when you walk into a room, people are like, wow, who is that person? Whatever she's got, I want some of that. Like, are you like exuding that when you walk into a room? Do people want a piece of what you've got? Like, it's like, hey, here's my credit card. Whatever you're doing, I got to do it too. I got to do this. And that's the kind of posture that you're going to get. But it takes the consistency. You know, it's not that I don't have things in my head. It's not that Chris and Nikki don't have things in their head. It's just that, how long do you care to listen to them? Is it less than 17 seconds? Are you disciplined about, you know, what thoughts you're thinking and about what your activities are? Are you disciplined with doing the shred? I'm going to Hawaii in 20 days. I'm doing back-to-back shreds because I am going to rock a bikini in so my whole family, I got my whole family, even Sandy, my husband, is doing a shred for the first time. He's like, I made him a salad for dinner. He goes, where's the wine? Like, here's some soda water, honey. Enjoy. Cheers. So it's you know, becoming a product of all of our products is just so important to give you that last posture, that last piece, which is posture. And I think everything else will come from that when you come from the place of acting as if. So that's my 5th piece. There you go. And that's all of my magic dust. And I talked a little bit longer than I wanted to. I got a little excited. But that's all I've got. So if you have any questions for me in these last 3 minutes, I'm here.
Good job.
Thanks.
So if you want to unmute yourself, if you have a question for Joy, this was fabulous, Joy. I was taking notes.
It's phenomenal.
Hey, Joy, it's Barry. Great to have you. A quick question. What's one thing that if you could completely do different from the beginning, what would you do different, you know, knowing what you know today, based on your journey?
I would stop trying to do everything for distributors. I would stop trying to drag people along. I would stop signing people up that I didn't like. I would stop people that if they sign up, I'll just do this for them. I would, you know, I would get a little more firm about people taking responsibility for their health as my customer and taking responsibility for their business as my distributor.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
Great question.
Yeah. I'm trying to see these things. I can't, I don't have my glasses.
I'm watching them too. There aren't any questions. They're just telling you how amazing you are.
Okay, I got to ask you a personal question. So what is it you're actually wearing? Because I think that says Ninja under the Shred, under the Transform 30. So is this like a workout piece here? Because it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's my cool piece for the angle that the Zoom is on. So I wear this a lot when I do Zoom calls.
I love it. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Joy. And I would like everyone to unmute yourself so we can tell her thank you.
Thanks, Joy.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Joy.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Have a great night, everyone.
Great job. Thank you.
Unbelievable.